Congress came within hours of a government shutdown before senators from both parties struck a deal late last night, passing a bipartisan continuing resolution to fund the federal government for the coming months. Senate Democrats say the agreement closes a loophole in the House Republican bill that would have quietly redirected border security funding without any policy reforms attached. It also strips out the president's $70 billion request to fund military operations in Iran, a war Congress has never formally authorized, and blocks a new Office of Management and Budget rule that critics say would let the White House freeze congressionally approved grant money as political punishment, withholding funds from communities that did not vote the right way. With the continuing resolution buying only a short runway before the next deadline, Democrats are already looking ahead. For Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii, the bigger question is not whether a shutdown was averted. It is whether Americans understand why the cost of their daily lives has been rising.
Bipartisan funding bills. That is our job. It's what our families back home expect of us. I'm ready to get it done.
Senator Schatz.
No one wanted to see another government shutdown, and last night's big bipartisan vote reflects that. We worked on a bipartisan basis to write a clean CR, which gives us the time to negotiate these spending bills. But let's be perfectly clear, the spending bills that we have yet to negotiate need to reflect the reality of people's lives, not whatever new project or war Donald Trump is consumed by at that moment. The cost of everything has gone up, and that is intentional. The cost of everything has gone up, and that is intentional. Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, the Affordable Care Act, the war, gasoline prices, diesel prices, utility costs, the national ban on solar and wind energy, and the tariffs. These are not accidentally causing prices to go up. They are designed to cause prices to go up. And so we're going to work very hard to lower costs and deliver relief to the people through these bills, and we hope and expect that Republicans will join us. We have a long way to go, but yesterday was a reasonable start.
No, right here.
Can we talk about today's primaries? We obviously have a big primary in Michigan, and there's a possibility that the progressive candidate winning New Orleans. How do you feel about the way your candidates are running this primary season? And what do you say to critics that say that some of these folks that are getting nominated are too far to the left in states like Michigan?
In Michigan, we are going to beat the Republicans. We're going to take Michigan, and we're going to win back the Senate.
Leader
Plain and simple.
Yes.
Quiet. You can't yell that loud. You're louding even yeller than you used to. Well, I call on you. I do. You get your chances.
There's no sign of the NDAA being brought up again on the GOP agenda this week. If the war in Iran is still going on in September, is it fair to say that your caucus will continue to oppose?
Look.
Bringing up
The Republicans should not expect, Trump should not expect business as usual when they're engaged.
The same day Congress averted a shutdown, the Senate Judiciary Committee advanced one of the most contested nominations in recent memory. Todd Blanch is the president's personal defense attorney, the lawyer who represented Donald Trump through his criminal trials in New York, and a committee majority just voted to send his nomination for Attorney General to the full Senate floor. Senate Democrats argue the nomination is not merely controversial, but disqualifying. Central to their case are the files connected to the federal investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, what Democrats say amounts to 3 million pages of documents that Blanch has not released despite months of demands from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. Critics warn that, as the nation's chief law enforcement officer, a confirmed Blanch would have the authority to keep those records sealed permanently. Republicans on the committee voted as a bloc to advance the nomination. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says they are not vetting a nominee, they are covering for one.
Taxpayers fund these grants. Taxpayers deserve to see that money and have it invested in their communities, not withheld by Donald Trump as partisan retribution, which is what he seems to specialize in. Senate Democrats have stood up for working Americans at every step of the process and will continue to fight for the American people in the appropriate process. On Blanch, Senate Republicans again just rubber-stamped Trump's corruption with their vote to advance Todd Blanch from the Judiciary Committee. Make no mistake, Blanch has no intention of stopping Trump's corruption. He spent his whole career enabling it. Instead of seeing Blanch's so-called deal for the sham that it is, Republicans are once again taking Trump's personal attorney at his word. Shame. Clearly, the Senate GOP is willing to go along with Trump's tax fraud, Trump's egregious, breathtaking corruption, and let's not forget that Blanch still hasn't released 3 million pages of Epstein files. Blanch has no business becoming Attorney General. Senator Murray.
Well, as last night's vote made very clear, no one wants a shutdown. It is a good thing that we were able to come together to produce a reasonable CR that addresses some key problems with the CR that the House Republicans passed, and that will give us a runway we need to reach a bipartisan agreement on funding levels and then negotiate the bills for the coming year. The bill closes the loophole in the Republicans' bill, which would have allowed funding to be transferred to the Border Patrol. No reforms, no new money. It's that simple. The CR also adds important language to extend authorization for key programs and ensures there is enough funding to, for example, make sure low-income seniors have food on their tables. It rejects the wish list President Trump requested for the Pentagon. There is no funding for the so-called Trump-class battleships, for example, and this bill does nothing to fulfill his $70 billion request to bankroll his disastrous Iran war. Thanks to Democrats, this bill will block OMB's corrupt new grants rule from taking effect for the duration of the CR. What Trump and Russ Vogt want is the ability to take every federal grant in America hostage. They are not interested in making our tax dollars work better. They just want them to work for Donald Trump. Cancer research, bridges, hospitals. Under that rule, a Trump appointee could decide to strip funding for almost anything. No cause, no notice, no appeal. So Democrats said, no way. Every single Democrat joined me in demanding OMB withdraw the rule. Today, it is on ice. I did try to stop this rule outright in the negotiations.
Senate Democrats leave this week with a continuing resolution signed and a shutdown averted, but 2 major fights still ahead. The full Senate confirmation vote on Todd Blanch as Attorney General, and the next round of spending negotiations Democrats say must lower costs for working Americans. Both are expected in the coming weeks. This is the D.C. Brief.